It's there! Holy moly, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, Extremes Can You Dig It? Or as it's also known, the better version of Barcrest's Empire Strikes Back. Now, there is already a video on the channel about the Empire Strikes Back. It was one of the very first videos on the old Degsy Degworth channel, uploaded back in December 2017. And I re-uploaded it nearly 2 years ago to the new channel in June 2022. So I will say out of the gate that Can You Dig It is a clone of Empire Strikes Back. So in that regard, we've kind of already covered it. However, we're going to do some different things for this video. First of all, Can You Dig It never got the same horrible late chips that Empire Strikes Back did. Barcrest carried on chipping Empire Strikes Back after Extreme stopped with Can You Dig It. So there's that change for starters. Secondly, what I'm going to do in this video that I didn't do in the original video is we're going to have a look at what the machine does when you take it well over percentage and also when it falls under percentage by a significant amount, because I didn't cover those in the original video. And we're also going to do the trap again as well. I'll show you how that works. That video there, it kind of does the job, but it was one of the very early videos, like literally one of the first few videos that I made on the original Degsy Degworth channel. It was when I was using the shit headset that the audio's a bit crap. Like I say, it does the trap and it shows you what it is. But it's one of them that in the back of my head, I've always thought it could have done with a bit of a reworking anyway. And this is the perfect opportunity to do it because we've got Can You Dig It running here. Now, first things first, the risk of stating the obvious, this machine that we're playing here looks very much like the Empire Strikes Back. Just to explain that, you will be able to see here, if you keep an eye on the alpha, there's actually saying Can You Dig It. What we've done here is load the Can You Dig It ROMs into the Empire Strikes Back. There's a little bit of weirdness around getting the Can You Dig It ROMs working in a fresh layout. We don't have a DX for it and we don't have a classic for it. Someone over at Desert Island Fruits was trying to get it running in a classic and was having some slightly odd results. And somebody suggested that, you know what, if you just load these ROMs into the Empire Strikes Back layout, they basically work okay. The only thing that's a little bit screwed up is the win panel down at the bottom of the machine here. That doesn't matter because you kind of ignore that for the trap anyway. So we'll go with this for now. I've got a picture of Can You Dig It on the left hand side, so I do promise you that we've got the Can You Dig It ROMs running in the Empire Strikes Back layout there. So to be clear, that's the bit that matters here. It doesn't really matter what the front end of it looks like. You could have pictures of, I don't know, animals or fruits or kittens that were flashing on the right hand side in the layout here. As long as the emulation behind the scenes is correct, that's what matters, and it's going to allow me to show you what I want to in this video. But we've got the machine for reference there, the real machine on the left hand side, and you can see, by the way, that this is the laziest of clones. They have done basically nothing here to try and distinguish between these two machines. Oftentimes when a manufacturer clones a machine, they will at least make some effort to make it look different, so it looks like a different machine. Whereas here they've just said, fuck that, we'll just throw it out the door, reglass it, a literal reglass really, this one. You can see here that they would have hardly have had to move anything around. You've got a slightly different shape for the bonus trail. The big money configuration there is a little bit different, but fundamentally you can see that it is basically the same thing. And first off, let's just talk about those late rechips that Barcrest did for this. This was a notorious machine. It was one of them that got caught up in the £70 upgrades. Now, I have made a whole video, which is already on the channel, about Barcrest and their laughable attempts to upgrade their machines to the £70 jackpot. It was a big jump. The jackpot went from £35 to £70. So the jackpot doubled. The maximum price of play went from 50p to £1, and sort of manufacturers were left with the task of upgrading machines that were already out in the wild, because obviously you can't just replace old machines with new units overnight. Operators wouldn't want to do that. They would be looking for upgrade kits for machines that they already had out there, and then would slowly replace the machines with native £70-pounders over time. So the manufacturers here had two challenges. First of all, they had to incorporate that huge increase in the jackpot. If you think about the increases we'd had over the years, we'd had small jumps from £4.80 to £6, then 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35, and then all of a sudden we're going from 35 to 70. It's a doubling of the jackpot, and we brought in that which I always thought was crackers for a pub fruit machine, that £1 price per play. So what the likes of Barcrest had to come up with is they had to incorporate that £70 jackpot into the machines that they already had out there on £35, and they had to come up with something to entice the player to go in on that new £1 spin. And it was that £1 play that generally got these machines into trouble, because they would put things like skill bonuses or special things that you could do on the feature on £1 a play that you didn't get on the smaller stakes. And that's the principle, the basic principle behind what gets Empire Strikes Back into trouble. Now, there are some videos that I've seen in the past on the Empire Strikes Back. These were the early chips, I believe, where you could get guaranteed repeats stacked up. So it would offer you guarantee, collect the win for a guaranteed 2 repeats or whatever. You could do some fuckery with the game and get it to hold over those guaranteed repeats for like 70 quid, for example. I have seen they're old videos, really low quality from, back when mobile phones weren't so good, with people having 2 repeats stacked on the £70, that kind of thing. That all got chipped out fairly early on, as I understand it. Certainly I never had any round here that worked like that. But the trap remained for a very long time. It's the trap that we're going to be looking at here. Barcrest, however, carried on chipping this. There were apparently some really nasty late chips on these that played in all kinds of weird ways. We don't have those ROMs emulated, so for that video there, where I was actually playing the Empire Strikes Back, we had ROMs where the trap still worked, albeit the machine could play a little bit skanky. This isn't a free win, and the machine does see it to an extent as well. It does very much feel like the machine can see it a bit, and it certainly isn't an empty. Once you take this machine over percentage, it will clamp up and it just won't let you trap it. Can You Dig It behaves the same way at a basic level, but it remains kinder. And the chip that we're running here in this layout doesn't play as bad as the emulated Empire Strikes Back chip. So that chip there that I used for the video on the Empire Strikes Back, that one can really play silly buggers with you once it starts to get a bit behind percentage and wants to claw something back. This one here, these Can You Dig It ROMs, they can still play up, but they're not nearly as bad as the Empire Strikes Back. And it does seem to be prepared to give you the elements of the trap with less of a fight than the Empire Strikes Back chip that we have emulated does. Now, I was on these late. Unfortunately, by the time I got the trap for this, most of them had gone. I had a small number of Can You Dig It's that were around here that were worth a visit. I had one that lasted a reasonable while in a bowling alley here that I had a decent-ish chunk of change out of. But the other thing with this is, once you start hitting it on any kind of regular basis, even if you've got it to yourself, I think I had the one in the bowling alley here to myself. But the problem with this is that you can leave the machine in such an awful state that I think people just stop playing them, because These aren't free wins. The machine does know about it. It does know that it's over percentage. And whilst it's not quite as bad as an absolutely battered alien or clones, there's a video out there, I've referenced it before, of somebody getting their own alien clone, the leprechaun machine. They're getting that, wanting 70 odd pounds just for a board. You can't seem to get this quite that unhappy, but you can leave it in a heck of a state, wanting a decent amount of money, you know, maybe 30 quid, 40 quid for a board. And when you get on there, it's going to be blocking at like 4 quid, something like that. My experience with the Can You Dig It that lasted longest here was it got harder and harder and harder to do it. I was having to leave it longer and longer. I honestly got the impression that, you know, somebody would just maybe play it once, they'd get burned, they'd put a tenner in, wouldn't even get on the board, wouldn't even get a win, and they're like, oh, fuck it, I'm not playing that again. So by the end of this machine's tenure in that bowling alley, I was leaving it for 2 weeks and it was scarcely ready to go again. So this was not a great era in terms of appealing to the casual player. I know for those in the know, there was a huge amount of money to be made out of these Barcrest 70-pounders and indeed AWPs as a whole. We've done all kinds of videos on the channel about the fuckable Dons and all the rest of it. But I do maintain that it was this £70 era combination of that big jackpot and the manufacturers just completely stuffing it up time and time again, that for my money, and this was my experience in the sort of pubs of the Isle of Man, it was the £70 era when people, you know, what you would call the casual player, what was left of them, just started leaving fruit machines alone because they had wandered so far from what they originally were. So yeah, there was money to be made in the £70 era, and I had a few methods, I had a few decent tricks, and I had some decent machines here. I made some cash myself, but it was also very much the end game for the pub fruit machine was this £70 jackpot era. It limped on into the £100 era, but of course we know where we are now. It's all these digital cabinets with the random games on them, and we can track that back. The lineage of where we are now is the £70 era, starting with these £35 upgrades, which had all kinds of nonsense on them, and essentially started to bash the nails into the coffin of the compensated fruit machine. So what we'll do is I'll do the quirky things that I want to show you first, and then we'll get onto the trap. Honestly, the trap is kind of there. It's already in that video, but we will have another look at it in this machine here, because I do think this plays far easier to get than the Empire Strikes Back chip does. But there's a couple of quirky things that I want to show you first, and that is, can you see here, this is what I've got ready to go. I've got an under percentage machine, which we're going to have a look at now. I've got an over percentage machine, and I've got the base level machine, which are these files here. I've got a base level machine here, which is kind of settled down, and we'll try and do a natural trap on that, as it were. This machine has had a fair chunk of cash through it. I've used autoplay again. We're up to nearly £4,500 into this machine. And what I've done for this first one that we're looking at here is under percentage. Now, this one does compensate itself reasonably well, even with a sort of gentle, collecty, just kind of collect stuff autoplay profile. The machine doesn't let itself get scandalously behind. We're set to 84% here. Once it gets happy enough and it gets behind enough, it will generally just trail hold and fill up all the way round to big money, and it can correct itself off that, and it can do some reasonably big tops once it gets behind enough. And this is what I'm going to show you in this video here, because part of the kind of debate around this era of £70 bar crests is, can they repeat at all on the £70? And we've kind of been talking about it over at Desert Island Fruits over the years, and people saying I have never ever seen the £70 repeat on one of these. And the question around that is it just blocked in the code? Does the code simply never allow for a £70 repeat? And the answer to that is no. It is not completely blocked. The £70 can do a straight repeat. It can do it off the shot here, and it can do it off big money. However, what you will find is that in normal play, it will simply not get that far behind, because even a very casual kind of numpty sort of player, it will just hit a cash shot and it'll hit 70 quid. And obviously anyone's just going to collect the 70 quid at that point, or it will make a very easy run round to the big money and try and level itself off that way. I was just keeping half an eye on it the other day when it was going in autoplay. I saw it was getting far behind, so I just lumped another 20 or 40 quid through it and took a copy of it at that point in time. So this machine here has got a drift of over £200 in its favour, which is, it doesn't really like to get in that state. Like I say, it does try and even itself off. But what I'm going to show you here, and this is kind of just for the amusement factor of it, is to show you that the £70 on this can do a straight repeat. Obviously, I've got to try and get it on camera, but we've got the RAM and GAM files, so if it misbehaves, we can go back and do it again. This machine is deliriously happy. It really wants to give us some money, so it's going to give us a very easy job of getting into the feature there. You can hear there, by the way, that the sound of music is very much from Can You Dig It? This is not Empire Strikes Back here. So we're going to have a little gamble there. We'll see if it should just give me the 70. There we are. It's given me the £70 shot, so we're going to collect the 70 quid, and hopefully it will give us a repeat. So getting a straight £70 shot would be within the realms of the possible on the real machine, of course, but it would still need to be pretty happy. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't try and save for a 140, whereas some machines, their profile will be that it will actively try and save for a £70 plus repeat. This doesn't. It does try and even itself off far more actively, but you can, with a bit of persistence, get it far enough behind to hopefully, there's no guarantee it'll do this, but it is in a state where it can. Let's see if we can get a £70 repeat. Come on. Yes, there you are. There you go. That is a £70 straight repeat. It just goes to show that it is capable of doing it. There isn't something in the code that just says never ever repeat on the 70 quid. It can do it. There you go. That is a straight £70 cash award, which has given a repeat. It can do exactly the same off big money. I haven't seen it do a 210, but I would imagine that the drift that it would need in its favour to do a 210, assuming that it will not repeat again, by the way. There you go. I would imagine that the drift that it would need to do a 210, it would be difficult to actually get the machine in that state, simply because it does start to make an effort to just get you to the end of the trail here. Just trail holding and trail holding and trail holding, spinning in numbers all the way round to big money there. But you can see it is in there. That is a £70 and a repeat for a very easy 140. I don't think you would ever catch one in the wild in that mood, because the appallingly bad play it would take the machine to have that much of a drift in its favour, I cannot see happening in any kind of natural context. Now, what I'm going to do here is flip over to the over percentage one, because if you have a look here, I've got one ready to go that is over percentage. So that was the under percentage that we've just done. And now we're going to do the over percentage one, and I'll show you that. So here you go. This is the over percentage one. You can see up at the top there, I've got it to 87.2% from a target of 84%. You could maybe get it a bit more over percent than that, but it does clam up. Once it gets over percentage, it really does resist the trap. So I don't think you could probably... maybe a better player than me will be able to get a more extreme drift, but certainly with my limited abilities, this is about the furthest over percentage that I could get it. So let's put a £20 note in, because the note, there we are, the note changer is emulated. So that's a £20 note. We'll transfer it all over to credit. There we are, and I'll just show you how stinky this thing can play when it wants to. Let's go on to £1 a play. There we go. And now let's see. I mean, it should give us a board. Probably, if I had to have a guess, it's going to be about 25, 30 quid for it to want to board. But you can, I mean, look at this for the £1 price of play here. And this is very much how you could leave it. Once you'd left it, once you'd visited this machine and you trapped it, maybe you could get a couple. The ones round here, I was able to, I think there was, did I trap one 3 times? I can't remember. Certainly you could trap them twice if they had some value in them, but thereafter you were generally looking at you could only trap them once. They would only let you trap them once. You can see here that it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. This thing is not letting me in. It's not holding that trail at all. Every single time we get anywhere up the trail, because the trail held is a part of the trap and how you check it's ready. It's not really relevant here per se, but you can see here. I mean, look at that. We've got no numbers there. There's nothing we can do. See there? That was 20 quid. That was £20 gone on £1 a play, and you can see there it gave me absolutely no chance whatsoever of getting it. I mean, God almighty. This is what I think had happened, by the way, to that Can You Dig It I had in the bowling alley. I was leaving it in something like this state here. Maybe somebody came up, they put a £5 in or a £10 in, maybe they put 20 quid in, they didn't get a win, they didn't get a board. Is that person ever going to play that machine ever again? No. Almost certainly not. They go, that's the fucking machine I put 10, 20 quid in last time. Didn't even get a win, didn't even get a board, never again. And it was quite painful. The one that I had in the bowling alley here was really quite painful. And that was after leaving it for 2 weeks. So I'd almost expect to get a board here in the next tenner. But maybe not. Maybe I've left it a bit stinky than I thought. Jeezy, God almighty. Here, well, this is 40 quid now. Oh, if we get to the end of this, that's 40. I mean, it doesn't matter if I hold that number or not. You can see it's just avoiding. It won't give me a feature entry here. Because it's not trail holding. It won't put you in if it's not trail holding. If it goes back to that bonus, I'll maybe... There we are, but it's all for nothing. Oh, you know what? I could have just held the 4 there, but I'm sure it would have span a number in and denied me the feature. There, and that was 40. That was £40. Let's just see what it wants to do off this selector. Oh my God, that was 40 quid. 40 quid, no win, no board. Let's put another £20 note in. Dreadful, dreadful, dreadful. Is it any wonder that the compensated fruit machine died off? Crikey O'Reilly. Now, I know I said this on the last 20 quid, but I'm pretty sure we'll get a board off this 20. Which I know it's not, like I say, not really saying much, but oh, for God's sake. Once we get trail held, it'll put us into the board. It's willing to put you into the board once you get trail held. Let's just, oh no, I can't actually, I need a 2 really, don't I? Oh, no good. No, there you go. We really should be seeing a trail held soon. This is playing even worse. I thought it'd be bad. I didn't think it'd be this bad. There we are. Now, so there. What was that? That was £47 for a trail held. 47 quid to get a trail held, and it should now be prepared to put us into on the board. So let's see if we can get a board for to 60 quid. But I think that this tells you everything that you need to know about the state that these machines could get in. Oh, there we are. What was that? 52 quid. £52 for a board. £1 on the premium £1 play option. Which was put there, you know, in type play on our new exciting £1 mega game. A mega start, mega bonus, whatever you want to call. Oh, for fuck's sake, what was that? Was that a £3 board? Was that 3 quid or 4 quid? 52 quid for that board, which was, I think it was a £3 shot was the best I was offered there. Whatever it was terrible, wasn't it? I mean, can we get back in? What have we got there? Oh, sorry, yeah, I've got another board, right? So it is boarding. Let's just have a look. What's the best offer I get? I'm a bit wary of gambling on that 3, you know. So it's £3 we've been offered up to now, and we could... you know what? The gambles on this can be so sketchy when it's in a bad mood. Look at that. Cashing out with £1. Collect prize of £1. So let's just play off these credits, because that will be £60 of credits. £60 to get a single collect prize of £1. Oh, there we are. We can get another board off this then. Okay. Okay. There we are. Let's just see what we get off. Maybe it'll shoot a little bit more. £4. So we've got £4 shot. And we're on to the super. Okay, finally we might get a little bit of value out of it. No, straight back out. Didn't like us being on the inside there, did we? Oh, don't you dare. Oh, it's in... Oh, we've been released. God, it's awful, isn't it? It can dick you around with those speeders, by the way. You can see they can hit them as many times as it likes and effectively give you nothing. We've got 3... No, it's straight back out again. Incredible. I mean, it's not going to give us big money. I don't really know what the features are here. Let's just push on, see if we can get... Oh, bollocks. Oh, that might kill me, you know. That tells you everything you need to know. Look at that. We had a £4 shot. So that's £60 of credits. The best we've managed on the board is a £4 shot, and it gave us a £1 collect prize. So there you go. That is the kind of state that you can leave this machine in once you've trapped it a couple of times. This is one that I took. This RAM and GAM file that I took here is after I trapped it, and I managed to get it. I think about as early as I could, or certainly as early as I could manage on the trap. So it did take it quite a way over percentage. I think it had a drift of about 80 quid against it, and it does get into a nasty mood there. So I've shown you, we've had a look there, because I didn't do this in the last video. Under percentage doesn't really like to get there, and it will really try and give you money. But if you can get it far enough out, it will give you a repeat on the £70 jackpot. And it will, and that's one way, of course, that it's trying to correct itself as well. So you can see the £70 jackpot on these can repeat when it's far enough under percentage, but I don't think you'd ever see that naturally. Over percentage, I just showed you there, an abominable 60 quid. We were over £40 in for a board, 60 quid in with a £1 collect prize and a £4 shot. If I carry on playing it here, shall we just, in fact, let's just do it. For the sake of argument, let's put another £20 in here. So this is now 80 in. And this, incidentally, demonstrates very, very clearly why this is not an empty. You can't take this too far over before it gets in a very, very grumpy mood. There is no way that you can trap the machine whilst it's in this kind of state, or certainly not profitably anyway. So... will it let us in there? But what you'll find now, as you can see, it is starting to board, and it will gradually, I think we can get along that, and it will gradually start to get a little bit happier. What we'll see it doing is it'll start giving you some half respectable amounts on the inside board there. You'll get a £10 shot. That, don't you dare. You'll get a £10 shot, that kind of thing. But what it's essentially done here, and you can see that this was about 80 quid behind. Where this over percentage layout here is about 80 quid behind. And you can see how it's done that. It's really, really wanted to correct that £80 back, because this was the thing that made this trap so nasty for anyone who was playing it after you, and that was why you really wanted to use the tell on 50p to see if the machine was worth playing or not before you got involved, because there's no way obviously you can't make a profit on this now. There's no way that you can make a profit on this for... Oh, hang on a minute. I've been known to miss these. There's no way that you can make a profit on this now by taking 70 quid out. So that will not... we can... All we're doing at this point, if we trap it, fuck me, is minimising our losses. That's 80 in. You can see there, it's still not in any kind of mood whatsoever. I mean, what we could do here is use this, where we are now, for the basis of the trap. That this would, I mean, I do have a sort of base version of this machine that's got a small drift in its favour. Where are we up to now? We are still, in fact, let's go in with another 20. So can you see up at the top? There we are. That just takes it a little bit under percentage. Can you see there? That takes us to 83.68 from our target of 84. So we are now a little bit under percentage. From my experience now, once it gets in this kind of situation, you can trap it. It won't necessarily like it, because this is going to take it a reasonable way over percentage. If we get the trap at this point, it's going to take it over by a fair bit, but it should let us trap it now. So you see there, we're getting a little bit better on the shots here. Might even get a £10 shot in the not too distant future. We are getting some nudges, which are a part of the trap as well. Oh, it's still not a good one. In fact, so what I'm going to do, we'll play this out. Oh, so you see there, yeah, okay, so we're getting the skill. So in we go. £5 shot there. Let's just see where it's prepared to shoot. I mean, I think this will be a tricky trap from where we are, but I think it'll probably be possible. So what we're going to do... Okay, we are getting some nudges here, so... Slight change of plan. We'll use this to try and show the trap, because this is going to be quite a good way of demonstrating. You saw what a bad mood this machine was in. Ooh, it's hard on my little laptop screen. You saw how awfully this is. It's just taken £100 in cold blood, and it's only just about got back to percentage with a small drift in its favour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this as our starting point for trying to do the trap. I don't really care about that at this point, so we'll just play this down. We'll just deliberately lose that. There we are. So we're going to use this as our starter. Right, we're going to use this now. You can see there from the stats that we're just about at percentage. So let's see how much it costs us to trap it from this position. So we're going to start off with £20 in, and I'll show you the trap now. With this machine where it is now, I think this is going to be slightly painful, to be honest with you, but it should let us do it. Although I think it's probably going to put up a little bit of a fight. So here's how you actually did the trap on this. Let's just imagine that we're walking up to this machine blind. We found this machine in a pub or like the bowling alley as I did here. We're walking up to it and we want to know, first and foremost, is it worth even having a go at this? Is it going to let us trap it at all? And the good news is, there's a really easy little tell. What you do, you don't have to put 20 quid in, by the way. What I would do on the real thing is I would give it a £5. And what you do is you put it on 50p play. And what we are looking for is a trail held. So there, make sure you're on 50p a go for this. Just put in £3, £4, £5 tops was my limit. And what you do, you take a spin. And what we are looking for is a trail held. When the machine is dead and it's nowhere near being trapped, i.e. you're not going to be able to trap it for a profit, it will not give you a trail held on 50p. As soon as we see a trail held on, there we are. Straight away, that is enough. Can you see we've got a trail held on 50p? That tells us that we should be able to trap this and make some money. Doesn't mean it's going to drop it into our lap, and I don't think this machine is, because it's scarcely back into the black as far as it's concerned. But as soon as you see a trail held, you can go to £1 per play, and this is where we do the trap. Now, the fundamentals of the trap here are the little extra that they added in to make the £1 play more enticing. What we're trying to do here, we're just playing to get on the board. Once we're on the board, we're going to play it as normal, going round, and we're trying to collect nudges and a bonus. We want an add again bonus, and we want a reasonable number of nudge shuffles. So the nudge shuffles are on the board there. You can see them, those pink squares. You can see them there, also there on Can You Dig It, in exactly the same place. And we just want the first bonus. You can actually see it a little bit more clearly on the Can You Dig It picture there. The first bonus, which is add again. If it adds beyond add again and goes to taxi, we can just collect the taxi and land straight back on bonus, and it'll give you add again. And then we need to get, and we can do this on either features or cash. What we need to do is knock out mostly everything, but not quite. Then we can use our nudges when we're on a feature or a cash shot square. Then we take our nudges, and this is the £1 play trick that they just didn't account for when they did the upgrade, is you can use your nudges and nudge shuffles to bring red boxes down onto the win line. Every red box knocks out one of what is left on either features or cash, depending on which one you're on. And then you can use your add again bonus to get a final shot or two shots. And because you've knocked out the last couple of things that are left with those nudges and the red boxes, the only thing it's got left to hit is the 5th speeder for big money, or the £70 shot if you're on the cash side. So that's the trap. That's the where it became vulnerable on the upgrade, because it does see the risk of the add again being used on the shots, and it will not let you get close enough for it to work on that level. But it doesn't think about you being able to use the nudges and the shuffles to get rid of those final values, so that you can guarantee yourself the big money or the jackpot when you take that shot using the add again. So that's what we're playing for. So all we're trying to do first and foremost is get on the board. I'm not expecting an easy time here. I could be wrong. Sometimes oh, right, there we go. So we just want to get on the board. So yeah, there we are. That's why you can see straight away you need to be getting on the board. It's absolutely critical that you're getting on the board. Now, what we want to start doing here is building up our speeder shots as well. So even though the super shots aren't super useful in and of themselves, in that we're not taking anything off that panel, they are handy in that they can give us those speeders if we can land on them. And you would want the game. This is a nice sign here if you're getting a decent cash value in this the cash pot here when you're in there, because that does tell you that the machine's got a little bit of life in it. We need to be hitting those speeders. We've got our bonus. We've got our add again. We haven't got any nudges. It does like to hit the speeders, so that's not too much of a problem. What it does sometimes resist. Oh, there it... This is no... Ooh, we'll go for that. What it does sometimes resist is the nudges, but I found that... Oh, that might kill me now because it's in a bad mood. Oh, there we are. No, we've survived that. In my experience, though, this Dig It chip does not resist the nudges as hard as Empire Strikes Back does. Oh, now that can give us some nudges there. There we are. We need a few more nudges. So 4 is going to be tight. I mean, the trail run is usually good for some nudges. I'm going to take the trail run just to get nudges that might have been wrong, actually. Oh, you know what? I fucked myself there, I think I fucked myself. That was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Trail run again, and that's going to have me now. Yeah, that was... You know what? I shouldn't have gone for that trail run again. It avoided the nudges on the trail run, so that was a little bit foolish on my part. Maybe a bad call there. Sometimes that can work, though, I found, but didn't do there. It just avoided the nudges and knocked out too many things. No. Okay, we'll go for that there. It should be boarding without too much trouble. We can't get a 2 there, can we? No. But you see, on a pound to go, you do get through the credits quickly. And every spin, of course, is eating into your profit. Because certainly once you were on these, you were only trapping them once. So you've only got 70 quid coming at the end of this, so you really wanted to be getting it as cheaply, as quickly as possible. That's going to avoid the feature there, isn't it? Well, that wasn't great. Oh, so that's 12. I didn't think I'd get it for 20. Okay, so we'll go 30 in. So we're now 30 in. So let's put another tenner in. There we are. 1, 2, 3. We haven't got a guaranteed feature entry there either, have we? Should be prepared to put us in. That'll work, won't it? There we are. There we are. So in we go. There, that's nice. So we can go. Oh, no. God, it can kill you on these, you know. I'm going to go for it. It can kill you on these. Oh. It can kill you on a 2, you know. I don't know if I should gamble on that. 6 is not... You know what? I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to carry on. Yeah, could have gone... I've seen it can kill on 2s and 11s on those nudges, depending on what mood it's in. So, so I'm going to go lower than the 12, because that can give me a speeder shot. It hasn't, but I'll back out. We need to be hitting those... Need to be hitting those speeders. I still need to get the bonus. I haven't got the ad again yet. I'm actually reasonably happy with my nudges. They're not a million miles off on the nudges there, I don't think. Okay. Go out. There we go. Now, okay. I've got 6 nudges and I've got my bonus. I've got my ad again. Now I need to get the speeders and get these shots down. Oh, nice there. Nice natural land on the nudges. We'll have that. Not actually. I need to be 1 away, really, on the... I need to be 1 away on that. Oh, no, don't you dare. I'm nicely set up here. Oh, my God. I can miss this, you know. Oh, God. I can... Oh, you know what? I think that might be it. Hit a speeder. Now I can go higher than the 1. Now, at this point, I want to take my nudges because it sees the straight ad again. What it doesn't see here is what I'm going to do with the nudges. So look, keep an eye on the feature panel here. And now I'm going to take my nudges. Can you see there? I've got 8 nudges. Now, I'm going to nudge in that red box on the middle reel. Watch what happens to the valve. One of those is going to disappear. Bosh. Now. And this is what you can do on a pound to go. So there's no red boxes there, but watch me. I can press start and get a respin. And what it'll do, probably... Ooh. I mean, that's enough, isn't it? That's enough there, because I've got 2 shots. See? But I can... that's it there. I've got the trap at that point, but it doesn't... See there, it's brought a red box in there. Bosh. Look at that. And now I can press add again. And now it's got nothing left to hit apart from that. And that is the trap. And there we go. Doesn't matter how it does it. And there you go. That is a 7. Now, I'm sure you will agree with me that machine was a long way off a natural £70. That machine was what? 15 quid happy, maybe? Maybe £15 off the inner board, something like that. There was no way that machine was jackpot happy. But that there is the trap. And what you're going to see here is when I collect that, that is going to send this machine way over percentage. So there we are. That will not go on. There's no way that's going on at all because it's over percentage. I did have the Can You Dig It that I had in the bowling alley here. Went on for me once. I think it went on to 90 quid or 100 quid, something like that. But that was... It only ever did it once. And it must have had a fair amount of value in it to do that. So there we are. So technically, I mean, I've only put in £23 of credits there. I mean, I've got the rest of them in the bank already. So that's 70 quid out for £23 in. That is now a collectible bank. Because I've only put £30 in, but I've still got £7 in credit. So, and you would do that, by the way, on the real machine. You wouldn't be putting like £10 in at a time, as I was there. You'd just be putting £2, £3, £4 in at a time. Because as soon as you get the trap, that's it. You can't. Certainly on a machine that you know is only going to have one in it, you are only going to trap that one. So as soon as you've trapped it once, you just walk. The one here, I didn't even bother checking if it had another one in it. Once I started to get it nailed down, I just walked. The second I got that 70, I just collected the 70 and walked, because I knew that there was no way it was going to have in it, another one in it. And what you will see now, by the way, is if we go back up to 50p, we are not going to get a trail held. For this £7 of credits and quite some time after that, I absolutely promise you we're not going to get a trail held. You see there, that was 23 in for 70 out. And like I say, I hope you'll agree with me there that there was no way that machine was £70 natural happy at the moment. It's purely that trap and the way that you can use the nudges and the add again on the £1 play to just trap it into that 70 quid, because the coders, as so often happened with these, and I talked about it in this video here, the coders just were not taking account of the extra stuff that they put in for the £1 play. You had that big £70 jackpot and you had the £1 play, and the code just was not equipped to cope with it. And I'll show you now, this is not trail helding at all. We will not see a trail held for these £7 of credits, and probably another £30, £40 after that. There you go. And you saw it when I started on the... We're basically back, essentially, we're back now into that over percentage state. And my experience has been with this, that it will let itself get trapped easier than Empire Strikes Back. Somebody at Desert Island Fruits has also said that to me, that this plays a far easier trap when it's kind of marginal, as it was there. We just about got the machine the right side of 84%. You can see there it kind of let itself get trapped fairly easily in a way that Empire Strikes Back chip does not. I played with that one a lot a few years ago when the new era of MFME started and we had this machine emulated. I put a lot of time into that one, and my feeling with it was that it played nastier than the Can You Dig It that I remember having for real here, and having played Can You Dig It here in the emulator, and having gone back as well. I did go back to Empire Strikes Back just to see, am I imagining this or not? But no, it plays a skankier game. It will let you trap it, but it plays harder to get. Guy over at Desert Island Fruits agreed with me. And what it tends to avoid is those boards where you get the nudges and the bonus. Empire Strikes Back far more seems to ration out the nudge boards, whereas Can You Dig It seems to walk into the nudge boards more regularly and give you the bonus as well. And they're the two elements that you need for the trap. Empire Strikes Back also seems to have these big nudge boards, but then it just won't let you have the add again. And without the add again, you just can't do it. So it does speak to what we already know to be true, which is that Barcrest carried on chipping Empire Strikes Back after Extreme stopped chipping Can You Dig It. Can You Dig It, as far as I'm aware, was very much the preferred one because it generally gave you an easier time than Empire Strikes Back. And that's certainly been my experience playing it in the emulator here. So there you go. We've had a look at a very under percentage one, a very over percentage one, or a moderately over percentage one. And then you've just seen the trap there in real time. Once the machine starts trail holding on 50p, that shows you that you can go up to a quid and trap it. Your profit here, you would be looking to get these trapped for somewhere between, I don't know, 20 to 30 quid. That would make your profit 40 to 50. But once they started tightening up, I had a real, even with a Can You Dig It, when I'd been just visiting it, and I was leaving it just about long enough. I had some right old tussles with this thing where I was getting, 50, 60 in to get, the 70 out, at which point you're making 10 or 20 quid, which is still better than nothing, but they do clam up over time. And this one won't be letting itself get trapped anytime soon again in the emulator. We'll have to get it back to trail holding and get a little bit of life in it, and then it will let us trap it again. That is Can You Dig It? We've also shown a natural £70 repeat on one of these things, so we've answered the question of whether or not they can do them. They were a good machine for players in what was a good era for players who made a lot of money, Like I say, I count myself among them. I did decent bank during the £70 era with even the relatively limited subset of tricks that I had. But I don't think you can really argue the case other than to say that this was very much the beginning of the final end of the compensated fruit machine. And as I've said before, the fruit machine industry very much did it to itself. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you next time. But for now it is goodbye.